Let's go to the phone lines at 617-830-4750, starting with Tim. Tim, back in January, I guess was the last time we heard from you, and you were pretty angry from what I have in my notes when we spoke back in January. Does that sound right?
I don't know if I was angry. I know we're talking back and forth about healthcare,
Okay.
and how it how it was going to be paid for with $52 trillion
Right.
per year.
Sure.
I don't know how, with even the statistics you provided me, I don't even know how it would still be paid for. But regardless, I was seeing that you were doing a bunch of live streams on the impeachment hearings, and I wanted to see, what's your takeaway from what's going on. And what do you think the outcome for Democrats would be, positive or negative?
Well, I've got a big story coming out on this because on the one hand, there have been some people testifying who have not really made a big impact, but certainly Gordon Sondland has made it clear that everybody knew what was going on. Rudy Giuliani knew, Mike Pompeo knew, Mike Pence knew, Donald Trump knew, everybody knew about the extortion, bribery, quid pro quo. That should be extremely damaging. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman had very devastating testimony. But I'll be honest with you, Tim. I said, if Democrats can't turn this into something, it will be very embarrassing because they're monopolizing dozens of hours of TV time across all networks. It is, even in its most salacious moments, you've still got to pay really close attention for hours at a time to understand what went on. And I don't know if Democrats are going to be able to turn this into something.
And to add on what you just said, I think it's also costing the taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars to hold these circus hearings to begin with. And when it comes to actually breaking the law, there hasn't been substantial evidence of anything. That's why even you said they don't have anything.
Well, no, I
to put
didn't. I
on
never.
Trump so far.
I certainly never said they don't have anything. What I said is that. So there's a couple different things. These are not criminal proceedings. Impeachment proceedings are not criminal. So we can talk about criminal, but that's actually that's a totally separate issue altogether. It relates to the Justice Department. Two different things. We don't want to mix them up. But I certainly never said they don't have anything. What I said is, as devastating as what they have is, I still am unsure. I mean, listen, I don't see impeachment happening. Hopefully this will fire people up enough that they vote Trump out in November of 2020. That's for me the most likely positive outcome that I can imagine.
Well, isn't the impeachment hearings in and of itself high crimes and misdemeanors, according, based on the president's actions?
So
If they're
what's
looking for high
important
crimes
to
and misdemeanors,
understand
there are
about
none.
high crimes means the person doing it, not what the crime is. So there's a lot of misunderstanding about what that even means. But we're talking, again, you can be impeached not because you committed a felony, for example, but because what you did abdicated the morality. You abdicated the role of the president. You gave up sovereignty to a foreign country. There are things that may or may not be crimes that are ever prosecuted. They can still be impeachable. So it's important not to confuse criminal proceedings with impeachment proceedings. This also relates to due process. A lot of the conversations happening about due process seem to misunderstand what kind of a proceeding this is. But it sounds like you're watching the streams, and that's good. At least people are paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, I've been following this pretty closely, and I follow this regularly.
Good.
And I see that there just seems to be hearsay from what I see on my end from secondhand conversations.
No, so Gordon
quote,
Sondland
fights here and there.
described his own conversations. Gordon Sondland gave all firsthand testimony. So I don't know, maybe you're defining hearsay. That's a Republican talking point, that there's
And what
only
did that give him?
hearsay. Well, hold on. That's a different question.
What did that
You
give the
first said
Democrats?
that there's only hearsay. I pointed out that there isn't, and now you say, well, who cares?
No. From the first two proceedings that we had, there was all hearsay. Now
Yes.
we're having it directly from the horse's mouth, but
Right.
that's still not giving Democrats anything to work with, as you said previously.
So
there's nothing
whether they have
in terms of
something to
evidence,
work, I'm
concrete evidence.
agreeing with you in a sense, but the reason that they may not have anything to work with is that you have 62% of Trumpists who said, I don't care what he ever does, I will never abandon him. And when you're dealing with people like that, he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and it wouldn't matter. So I think it's important to distinguish between there is nothing versus Republicans won't care. And that's the situation that we have, Tim.
Well, the transcript is out. So the entire transcript of the call is out. The American people have read the transcript.
I haven't seen that.
Congress
Who
people have
released
read
that?
the
I may have
transcript.
who released the full transcript?
Trump released the full transcript.
No, that was a 30-minute
He
phone call.
released the
No,
full
hold on.
transcript.
Trump released a transcript that was about 6 or 7 minutes of a 30-minute phone call. Unless it happened in the last 5 minutes, Trump has not released the full transcript. See, this is the problem,
Like
Tim.
I said, David,
People seem to be confused. The full transcript
I'm sorry,
was never.
What were you saying?
So now you've said the full transcript has been released. It hasn't, and now you're just saying there is nothing. You're doing circular arguments, none of them based on fact. Every fact you assert is wrong, and then you move on to something else, Tim.
The fact is there's no substantial evidence for impeachment, and you know this, and you know it in your bones. Like, it's not going to happen, and it's going to end up like a Bill Clinton situation. If this were Obama, he would have been.
If this were Obama, he would have been impeached. Who knows when? All right, Tim, we're going to let you go. Tim, I mean, I guess that's just what a Republican sounds like, or at least someone who's committed to the narrative that Trump can do no wrong. I mean, listen, I'll agree with you. This might not lead to anything, but to say there's no evidence, to say Trump really, everything that the guy said, I think almost everything has been demonstrably debunked.